So, hang on, let me compile what I want to say. My code is compiling. Product placement.
It's not my merch. Hi, my name is Catherine, and I'm here with my brother Colby.
Hello.
Colby is an audio engineer, doesn't know how to code, but today I thought since I'm home for the holidays, we would teach him how to code. We'd bring him onto the channel, and I'm not forcing you to do this, right? So I thought the best way to teach my brother how to code something is to just build something. Like pick a project, and let's build it together. And you know, maybe I'll pick up some of the little pieces along the way, and that'd be good. So, of course, like every software developer, I went and I found some code on the internet, and we're just gonna change that code. So we were talking about what we wanted to build, and I love myself some AR, some machine learning, some augmented reality, all of that good stuff. And so basically augmented reality, you hold up your phone, you see things through the camera view, and other augmentations pop up.
So when deciding on what we should learn how to code today, I decided it would be a great idea to create something that would help me with my budget. And especially since it's the holiday season, I want to know what I can and can't afford.
You know, I love myself some machine learning, some augmented reality, and so we were thinking if you went into a store and you held up your phone against something, it should just, you're looking through the camera feed, it should just tell you if it's in your budget or out of your budget. But yes, essentially you'd hold your camera over things and it would tell you in budget or over budget, not available. But of course we're just gonna make it say over budget for everything because we both, yeah. So how are we gonna do this? Well, like any good developer, we stole some code from GitHub. And I found this great application, so we are recording here. Of course it's already opened. So I found this thing. Thank you, Hanley Wang. You are very helpful for us in this video. And he combined Core ML with ARKit. So we don't need to worry about what those terms mean. But essentially this is what it does. And so you can hover your little phone over stuff.
Hang on. At the beginning of that, is that a lemon? I think that looks more like an orange.
Well, you know, it doesn't always work perfectly, as we'll find out. You know, your code, it doesn't have to work most of the time. So this has already been built for us. And we're just gonna open this, and instead of labeling like what it actually is, we'll just say it's over budget or under budget or in budget. So let us scroll down here. It's a bunch of things. If you want to code along with us, you'll just go here, you'll go download zip, and you'll open this zip file. And when you've opened this zip file, you'll just come over here to Core ML, and it's right here. So this is where you're going to take over. We're going to walk through this code, and then we're going to make some changes and additions to it. So why don't you're going to take the mouse, you're going to come over here.
Well, you don't have the mouse.
Well, we're at 92%, we're going to be okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so you double click the folder, and click on the Core ML, the Xcode proj. Yep.
All right.
So this looks super intimidating, right?
Oh yeah. What are these buttons?
What this is Xcode is basically the software you use to create iOS apps or apps for Apple devices, for phone Apple devices.
So what you don't see in this video is all of the hours of installation this took to get Xcode running. In order to run Xcode, you do have to have a Mac, and your Mac has to be on the latest OS, like Mac OS software. So right now it's Mojave. Then once you have Mojave installed, the next step is to install Xcode, and that's a whole other installation process. You have to install Xcode, and it's the Xcode whatever number we're on right now. So keep watching. We're all just trying our best here.
And so this looks really crazy. We're not going to look at that stuff. We are coming over here. This is like a navigator. And this is where we can access all of our code and other images and stuff. And so why don't you click on the viewcontroller.swift file. And so this is like a code file. And this looks intimidating. It's lots and lots of code. And this is what has already been set up for us in this project. So this is what this other guy coded, and we are gonna change stuff in here to make it do what we want it to do. And so with this template, we're gonna scroll to the top, and I'll kind of walk you through everything that this does, and then we're gonna go in and make changes to it.
All right.
So this is setting up a scene, and it's setting up some variables or things that we want to like calculate and then save later. This is where we save them.
All right.
We can talk about CoreML is Apple's machine learning framework, essentially. It's their, I think it's a library framework, whatever. And it is going to allow us to be able to detect whether something's the lemon or the orange or whatever. But it's that framework, and then we gotta input a model, which is this inception model v3, and that's how it's gonna be able to detect whether it's a lemon or apple. So we have the framework that allows us to use machine learning, and then we input this model, and that's how we're actually able to detect what something is.
Can we take a look at that real quick?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, sure. So we have this. So here it's saying...
Okay, so we can't look inside of that at all.
Yeah, so really what this is it's a classifier. So this is what's going to give you your hot dog, not hot dog thing. It's going to be able, it's learned from thousands of images and thousands of pictures of different objects. And you've been able to basically take a picture of a Coke can 5 different ways, and they can't see this, Diet Coke. You've been able to take this picture of headphones, you know, 20 billion different ways, and you input it as an image, and then your output is going to be what it means. And so this is a model that detects. You give it an image, which it takes from our camera feed, and then it outputs whether it's a Coke can or not. And before, you weren't really able to do this with Apple, but recently CoreML came out, and now it allows us to integrate this machine learning model, which takes in the input of an image, outputs whatever that image has in it. But the CoreML allows us to do that. So we come down here, view did load. This is basically a method that allows us to set everything up. In SK Scene, this is going to allow us to put in our augmentations, and so it's going to allow us to put those dots that we saw before. The tap, that's how it recognizes the fact I've tapped the screen, so all of those things won't come up initially, and you'll see this in a second. Let's demo it. Let's show it. So the way we can get this app that we saw before on our device. Oh yeah, so we press the play button on this. Notice how when I plugged in my phone, it saw my phone here. And I'm able to play it on my phone. All right, and so this is the app that we're starting with. We can hover over things, and you see at the top how it has like, this is basically the confidence level of what, so the number is the confidence level of what it sees, and so if I put it over my screen, the monitor, like it's 40%, or it's like changing rapidly, but like, you know, 30 to 20% sure that it's a monitor. And since that's the most confident thing, we can touch the screen, and now it's labeled as a monitor. So we're using computer vision to see the fact that it's a monitor, and then AR, we're adding this augmentation of the monitor. So now if I come over here versus come back, it still stays there. That's another good. Maybe it'll see this can. Well, it thinks this is a pill bottle. You know, it's not super accurate. But the thing we're going to be doing is changing this from saying what it is to over budget or under budget. And so then we can walk through the store, and we click things, thinks that's a traffic light, you know. Sometimes it doesn't know what it is, but you know, sometimes that's machine learning for you. So this is what, so we're changing this. So now we'll check out the code. We start at the top here, and we have this view controller. These words are important right now. The AR kit, that's what's allowing us to put in those augmentations, and so to put in the fact it was a monitor, traffic light, whatever it is.
All right.
Vision is allowing us to see it a little bit, I think, I don't know. Then we'll scroll down. This is just setting up scenes and stuff. The tap, so when I tap the screen and it shows the augmentation, we have to like say, hey, we want to add this gesture that we will recognize. The classification, this is all about classification of the object. No, this stuff doesn't really matter. And then we have the renderer. Here's the handle tap, so when I tap the screen, what should I do? This is basically putting the AR node on the screen, so adding that augmentation to the screen. This is creating the augmentation, and so there should be something in here that's like create new bubble or something, maybe. Yeah, here.
Maybe. So
here, so when we tap the screen, we create this new bubble parent node with whatever the latest prediction is, and so that was like how it had monitor at 25%. The latest prediction is like the word monitor. So we create a new bubble parent node, and then down here,
This is all of the code that's going to customize our bubble node. So when we tap the screen, that bubble appears with the words of monitor or whatever the object is. What that looks like, is it orange? Is it, how big is the font? What font is it? Those types of things are set in this method.
So this is like customizing all of that. This stuff doesn't matter. This is about, again, that classification, so AR. This is about like just processing image stuff, and then here's the font, because apparently maybe we didn't have it. So really what we want to change, like a lot of the stuff handled for us. What we really care about is that word that's displayed on the screen in AR. Like all of that computer vision stuff already set up for us. We are good to go. But now what we can do is, instead of this latest prediction thing, that's not what we want to show on the screen. We want to show over budget or under budget.
Right.
So how do we do that? How do we change that? Well, we need to see where latest prediction is set. So let's go find latest prediction. Okay, here we go. So it's in this thing where it's getting the classification. This stuff isn't super important. We're printing our classifications, and so that's what's down here. Okay, so every time we hovered over stuff, it printed it over here. And it was only because our like right here, our phone is connected. So if our phone wasn't connected, we wouldn't get these printouts here. But you still could run the app if it's disconnected, because it deploys to your phone. Whatever, okay. And so we print, so here's our classifications being printed, and this is the, you print to the console. And so really what we need to do is we need to say, if it's something, then it's over budget. Otherwise, it's under budget, or in budget or something. That's what we really need to do, right?
Right.
So we could start off by, instead of having that latest prediction name, maybe we'll create a new variable up at the top here. And why don't you type in var space, what should we call this? Like budget, and then an uppercase S. Oh wait, what am I trying to spell? And then size, so I-Z-E, so budget size. Then you're gonna do a colon. So we're calling this thing budget size, and then what is the data type gonna be? So data type is just, is it gonna be a number? Is it gonna be a text? For text, we call it string. So you're gonna write string, and then hit enter. So that makes it uppercase, which is how we should have it. And then we're gonna do a space and an equal sign, and then another space, and then we're gonna do a quote, like a double quote, and then another double quote. So we are saying at first the budget's not gonna have anything. Our budget size, and size makes it feel like it should be a number. Well, it's not going to be today. So we'll scroll, so now we have this budget size, and what we really wanna do for this bubble parent node is we don't want to show the latest prediction. We want to show, and then if you want to write budget size.
All right.
Because that's what's creating that 3D text. You could hit, so notice we get this like code completion a little bit here. So if you hit enter, isn't that beautiful?
That was great.
That's pretty great. And it highlights, I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, so let's save this. And we could actually go up and say just everything is over budget. Let's just say that. Because we just spent a ton of money on Christmas presents. There's a story. No. Okay, so sometimes you gotta unlock your phone in order to be able to run apps. And so now it's running, and let me actually go to recording my phone. All right, here we are. All right, so you wanna test it out?
Sure.
Oh wait, we may have crashed it by accidentally.
No. That does not look like English.
Okay.
What is that?
Let me play it again. That's Lorem Ipsum. So that's probably the sample text that shows up.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
All right.
Okay, cool.
All right,
so now just tap something. Over budget. It's all
over budget.
It's all over budget. And you really don't even need computer vision for that. You can just tap everything. You go into the store, everything's over budget.
Yep. This app's over budget.
So there we go. But we really, what we need to do is, we don't want everything to be shown as over budget. We only want.
I feel like everything kind of is.
No, we want to only show a couple.
All right,
of
let's learn how to make something under budget.
So if we just want to comment out some code and not even run it, we can do those backslashes.
What's the point of putting multiple?
Well, you need two for it to work. So,
well, yeah, more than two.
There is no benefit. There is no,
okay,
that's
it's just
me being annoying. No.
Okay.
So it's like little notes you can put in here. But we'll go back for it to being this. And then, so we have these things that are over budget.
Right.
And, okay, so really what we want to do is add a control statement. We want to say, if it's a monitor, over budget. If it's tree, over budget. If it's a pencil, in budget.
But I feel like just listing off everything would be vastly inefficient.
You're right. Really, this is getting towards the end of the video. It would be great if you could have a model that would predict if something's in budget or not. In budget or out of budget. But
right.
Out of the scope of this video, we're just using if statements.
Okay, so there's no fancy tool we could just slide in there and be like,
So what, if we wanted to do that, we would need if we wanted to predict if something was in budget or out of budget, we would need to give it a machine learning model. And we would need to give it the data of not only the image and a label, but the image, how much that image costs, so how much like the notebook or the window or whatever it was, and then also label it as in budget or out of budget. And then the thing we would be predicting for, the thing we'd be targeting is given, this new object, and maybe given its price, what is that? Is it in budget or is it out of budget? But doing all that, you'd have to gather a lot, and that's really the limitation of machine learning, is you have to have a lot of data, and you have to have a lot of training data, and that data, sometimes it can be like a bunch of images and you don't even know what you're searching for, but like in this case, since we are giving it that human label of in budget and out of budget, yeah. So that would take time out of scope. So we are just using if statements because we have no data. Okay, so let's scroll back down here. So let's find that bubble thing, bubble node, our bubble. So what we could do, well, right now we give it our budget size. We don't really want to do that yet. What we want to do is we want to say if latest prediction. So we're saying if what we're predicting is equal, is it that or is it equal? No. Okay. It's equal to monitor. Is that how you spell monitor?
What, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I think so.
No, that's not.
How do you spell monitor? Yes, it is.
No, you hang on.
Oh, it doesn't even work.
Well, no, because you.
How do you spell monitor? Okay.
Got him.
Got it. Spelling is important. And dot equals doesn't equal. It doesn't. It's not in this language. And so I guess we just do that. Or maybe I think we just do this. Maybe dot equal. So the programming language. Oh, I should also tell you, we are programming in Swift.
So I guess this is one of the limitations of the language.
No, it's just me not knowing the syntax of the language. I just jump from language to language, and I hope it catches
You just hope it works?
It's similar enough. So if our latest prediction is a monitor spelled correctly, because if it's not spelled correctly, all hope is lost. Nothing will ever work. You gotta have that spell in place. So then we want our budget size. A monitor's we're gonna just say over budget. It's over budget.
All right.
Otherwise, we're gonna say our budget size is gonna be
in budget.
Yeah, we'll say in budget, or maybe we do, or do we want to do like dollar signs? No, we'll say over budget.
What is it? That would actually be a really good idea. You could do like a screenshot or like take a picture of a restaurant and mail it, or like check it on an app. And it checks like Yelp or something and equates the number of dollar signs.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying. So like if you could use computer vision, hold it up in front of a restaurant, and it recognized what restaurant it is.
Right, and then goes to a website and is like, this is expensive.
And so, and then overlays. So we'll just say over budget, in budget, because I don't know if in budget should be 2 words. And I want to keep that. So we got budget size, over budget size, under budget. Great. You know what would be really cool though is I hate that orange color. That orange, who chose that? Like, what were you thinking? What was the
Well, it stands out. That's why.
What were you thinking? Oh, that I was gonna insult this person, and then you came at me with reason. Well, I was gonna go with red and green because under budget, green.
Oh, okay, okay. Then that's
wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so
got it.
let's go find. Where do we set the color of this thing?
Hang on.
Oh, it's gonna be look at the student has become the master. It's gonna be in the create bubble. So that means we're gonna change this method so that it takes the input of a color as well. So that way we're not only giving it the color, let's see. Look at this. UI color.orange. And so
do we want to replace that with?
So what we're gonna do is we wanna set this color thing up here. So we're gonna say a really scope. Okay, we'll say var color, and then we'll say color equals. I did something wrong. Okay, color equals UI color, and then so UI color is like a common thing. Maybe it's a library, and you can choose what color you want, and it's a like uniform way to do it.
So it's over budget, so we're gonna go with
with red, right?
Red.
So we can just do that.
All right.
And then we'll also UI.color.green.
Green.
Cool. So we have this color, and this is probably getting mad because I created a variable but didn't give it a type. So and it would have been fine if I had actually set it to something. So now I think it's happy. So great. We set the word. And now it's mad because it's never like red, so it's never used. We just set it to a bunch of things and never use it. So what we really want to do is we want to pass it into this function. So give it this information of what color we want the bubble to be. We'll save that. And then here we've got to change this. Oh my god, I forgot how to do functions. Okay. So maybe we'll do color, UI color. So this is saying, hey, I'm passing in a color. This doesn't have, these two don't have to be the same name. I'm just doing it because it's easier. And then,
all right.
Where do I have that underscore of the text? Because that means I probably have to change this too. But we'll change our color to that and get rid of that orange. Ugh, okay. Where do I use that text thing? Let me take away that and see what happens. See what's wrong. Why are you angry? So since we have more than one parameter in Swift, we have to say, we've got to give it these labels of that. We're saying this is the text, this is the color. It does have to be in this order because it's in this order here, but this is just the syntax, the way the language is written. So now, I think we're good. Let's check it out. Okay, so I'm gonna press that play button.
All right, let's try it out. Try the monitor.
Okay.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
We messed something up.
Did we misspell monitor? So now what do we do? Well, we can stop this, and what we can do is we can add something called a breakpoint. I'm a little angry it didn't work, but we are gonna try something else. What we do, so when something doesn't work in our code, we often use, what's it called? When something doesn't work in our code, we often use print statements or debugging. And this is one of the things we can do, and it's debugging. So I'm adding a breakpoint here. So when it runs, it will stop at this thing. And then we'll be able to check out what the actual value of latest prediction is. Okay.
All right.
So hopefully this will actually work. I don't know if you have to do it in a special mode for the debugging, but let's see. All right. So like if I go here, notice the execution here stopped, and it's because I have this breakpoint here. And so we have the breakpoint. Now let's go back to our code with this breakpoint in our view controller. And here we have all of these things. And so we can see what all of these different like values are.
All right.
So we can go to self, budget size. So our budget size is still this. This is binder. So that means that it's a string. It should be working. So now we hit continue and it will continue the app, I think. Whoops.
Oh, it's restarting it.
Yep, that was the wrong button to press. Oh, so now let's try to get it in front of the monitor and select it. So when it's at that monitor and not binder, we gotta put it, oh, okay.
Got it.
So it definitely says monitor. And now let's go check out what it says. It says monitor. Haha, God, this is so stupid.
All right, what happened?
You see this string, you see that little space?
Yep.
That's why it doesn't work. So this either means that the output from like this guy's code that we stole on the internet, that they're adding that space in order for this 0.7 to look good. They could be adding that, or it's just the machine learning model that's outputting that.
So in other words, in order to make this work,
we gotta put a, so yes, we could do that. We could add a space here and all would be good. But a better way to do this is to normalize our input. And so by normalizing our input, we basically say that we would want latest prediction to be, I think lowercase is a thing. We want it to be lowercase because like what happens if there's a capital somewhere in there? We want to make sure we're only checking for something that's lowercase, so we can do that. And we need to save it in that variable latest prediction. So it's storing our latest prediction here.
okay.
And then we'll do latest prediction equals latest prediction dot, and then we'll see if something there's like, I think trim is a thing in JavaScript. So sometimes we don't know what the hell we're doing. So we use the internet.
Okay.
So we'll say how to take characters, or how to take spaces out of a string. Nope, not in Java. In Swift. How do I trim? Haha. So you trim characters in, and then it gives you, so this is what we need. Look at them, they know I love Taylor. They know I love myself some Taylor Swift, that's great. Okay, so we'll copy this, just like we copy everybody's code. Like, we never do what we're doing, we don't. So in this case, our string is actually latest prediction. And there we go, this would be good. And we shouldn't have any new lines. A new line would be like if something, like how these are on new lines here. And it's not just the space we're trimming out, but it's this idea of this going on a new line. You never know, maybe there's some of that in there. And we can actually put this into one full thing. And I don't wanna do that. We'll just save that. So yeah, so now we have those two lines of code. Let's go ahead and play it. We should remove this breakpoint. And let's open the, or it'll open automatically. Okay.
All right.
So let's hit some under, so let's see our under budget.
Got some under budget.
So these are our, like, we're testing the under budget use case.
See what the camera's doing.
Under budget. Under budget.
All right, and monitor. Over budget.
Oh, we're over budget. We're over budget. Check that out. We are over the budget. Okay, try some other things. Try the monitor again. We were under budget, under budget. Over budget, under budget.
So the trackpad's under budget, but the rest of the computer's over budget.
I mean, you can only buy parts.
What about this painting? No, we can afford that.
We can afford that, yeah. We can afford
about some cars outside.
Well, yeah. So we only did like one if statement here. We said if what we're seeing is a monitor, we're over budget. Otherwise, we're fine. We could add more if statements in here that try to see if it's a keyboard, or if it's a Coke can, or if it's a pencil, or
a pill bottle,
or a pill bottle, or a traffic light. You know, you could put all of those in there as if statements. Obviously, as you said before, they're not the most efficient way to do this. Like right now, we have like one model that we use as computer vision to be able to classify what each object is and be able to output the fact that it's a notebook or something else. We'd want another machine learning model that predicts if something's in budget or over budget. So be able to predict another layer there, which would be crazy. But yeah, that's an introduction to coding. So we went through some we went through some syntax. We went through some libraries. So we use like this UI color red. We use some ARKit. We use some machine learning. We trimmed some characters. We created some variables. We used some functions. We changed the parameters on this one right here we added the color so we could edit that. What do you think? Was this fun? Did you like coding? Did you like to code?
I did enjoy
Would you code? Would you code again?
Probably. All right.
Okay, fist bump. No! I'm Blondie Bites. This is my brother Colby. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new. Guys, I don't like the way I said that.
What screen capture software do you use?
I'm just using...
For those viewing at home.
Oh wait, it's an audio. I'm just using QuickTime.
We can curse, right?
No.
We don't need monetization.
Yes, we do.